Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special board meeting of the Board of Trustees. Today's Friday, September the 8th, 2023, and I call this meeting to order at exactly 2:01 p.m. Roll call? 12:01. Oh, 12:01, I'm sorry. Dr. Ariel Cruz?
She's on.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Rudy Corona?
Present.
Mr. Fructuoso Gomez?
Present.
Mr. Oscar Medrano?
Present.
Mr. Alex Reina?
Present.
Mr. Mario Silva?
Present.
Ms. Servillon? Tony Torres? Thank you. It's a moment to move on to 1.2, public comment. Mr. Corona?
The next item on the agenda is public comment. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is available to members of the public according to the following. At regular board meetings, the board shall permit public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. At all other board meetings, public comment shall be limited to items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Anyone who would like to speak during public comment must sign in prior to the start of the meeting and list the topics they want to discuss. An individual's public comment to the board shall not exceed 5 minutes per meeting. Please keep your comments and criticisms civil and courteous. Please avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own children. In addition, the participating individuals shall adhere to the following. State their full name and what organization or group, if any, is being represented. Indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. Shall refrain from commenting directly on any individual employee or public official by name, but may refer to the specific employment area, job title, or the board as a whole. And shall refrain from attacks on individuals. Lastly, if after at least one warning from the presiding officer, any individual continues to disrupt the meeting by his or her words or actions, the presiding officer may request assistance from law enforcement officials to have the individual removed from the meeting. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of specific complaint that concerns should be addressed through the district's grievance process, district policy DGBA has been established for addressing employee complaints. Policy, FNG, is the avenue for filing parent complaints, and policy, GF, addresses community member complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or the district central administration office. Thank you. I'm going to call these out in the order that they were given to me. And the first gentleman that I have on the list, I'm missing one, I'm sorry. There we go. Is Julian J. Rios. You will be allowed 5 minutes, sir. Give me a second, sir.
Mr. Rios, just let me know when you're going to start, sir, so I can press start here, okay?
Okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. You got 5 minutes.
My name is Julian Rios. My address is 593 West Highway 83, San Benito, Texas. I'm representing myself and the citizens of San Benito. The topic is any and all subjects or matters related to item 2.1. Let me just go to my notes. So, good afternoon. For years, San Benito has been tainted with ongoing instability within our district. You have heard the phrase before, consistency is key. With over 5 principals at the high school in the last 5 years, the only consistency is the students know nobody's really in charge. You deciding to humiliate the superintendent gives your staff no need to follow any directives. Anyways, who's in charge, right? Again, you all will be creating more instability and inconsistency. Does anybody remember these phrases? Bringing forth positivity and ethics for a united district. My vote is my voice, an independent voice. Let's put politics aside and focus on what's most important, putting our students first. As that person usually laughs about putting our students first. I will be able to continue serving the district competently, fairly, with integrity, keeping you and your children in mind. How is humiliating someone a month into the school year, putting politics aside? This one hurts a little bit, and it's embarrassing for the board. A superintendent who has the, and I quote, a superintendent who has the knowledge, experience, ability, and most importantly, the courage to do what is needed for student success. You are truly a strong, confident, and capable leader in an environment that is full of uncertainty, chaos, and short-sightedness. The truth hurts, right? Why not work together on fixing the basics that need attention within our district, starting with a licensed master plumber and a licensed master electrician in maintenance? How are you even allowed to operate this district? The board won't budge to allocate more funding for competitive wages. You'll waste taxpayer monies humiliating the superintendent, but you'll turf fields at a cost of approximately $4 million. You surely could have better compensation for the electrician and the master plumber that we lack. Each one of you have worked hard your entire lives, just like the superintendent. I find it hard to believe you would allow your reputations to be compromised. You have one person who can sway all of you to follow their lead. Your reputations will forever be tarnished. Each one of you represents over 2,500 voters. As a whole, you represent over 20,000 people. My grandma always said to me, tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are. Let's see how you vote on the item at hand, and I'll tell you who you are or who you belong to. Also, don't think that your legal counsel will help you either. When it gets rough, it's been proven that he can't handle federal cases, dealing with state statutes, and he'll quit on you. Thank you.
Ready? Next, we have Mr. Jesus Chuy Aguilera.
Is she on? She on?
Me?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, there you
Yes.
are. Okay.
Yeah, I was having trouble
I
with
just
the-
wanted you to hear what I have to
line.
say. Excuse me?
Just let me know when you're going to start so I can start the timer, please.
You can now.
Thank you.
Ma'am, ves la tempestad y no te hincas. You're only here to destroy a person's life. That's what you're doing here. And remember that. God will not permit that. He will not permit that. And now we're going to find out who you're voting for, because you guys want the projects to continue. And now you'll have the blood in your hands after today. But before that, some of you are excused. But after today, you won't be excused. And to the superintendent, if you're hearing this, if they close the door on you today, 10 will open. They can't harm you. And you, ma'am, you have a big thing to do with this. Thank you, guys.
Okay, next we have Mr. Juan Martinez.
My name is Juan Sanchez Martinez. I was born here in San Benito many years ago. As a matter of fact, a couple of blocks from here, behind the filtration plant, because my dad worked for Cameron County and for many years back in the 1920s, and 9 cents an hour. 10 hours, 90 cents a day. $5.40 a week. Gentlemen, ma'am, I was in the school board also about 45, 50 years ago. And we had a very good group of men. At that time, there was no ladies for some reason. And I don't remember ever coming out with a vote from 4 to 3. Because we were always, each of us would give our ideas, and we would discuss them, and we would come to a conclusion that what was the best idea. And we worked together, I mean, all the time. There was Mr. Serapio de la Rosa, Mr. Dan Martinez, Dr. Cecil Simmons, Mr. Carlo Zucchi, and myself, and I don't remember all the other gentlemen. But I mean, you all have one heck of a job to, but gentlemen, work together. Give the superintendent idea that you have, but not, you know. And another thing about, I was a little bit sad that before the election, the newspaper was saying that about the superintendent, that it was about the superintendent, it was the subject of it. And never about the children, just that it was and it hurt me a lot reading that in the newspaper, because that's not the way to do it. You need to work together. Like I said, you all have a heck of a job to do, but please, do it and work together. I would appreciate it very much. And just, that's all I can say. Just work together. Because I love San Benito, and I was a graduate of class of 55, 129 members. So sometimes I go out of town, I'm ready to come back home. Thank you, gentlemen. You all take care. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
We have one more public comment. Ms. Rosalinda G. Garcia.
Good afternoon, school board trustees. At today's special board meeting, you will be discussing in closed session the superintendent's duties, responsibilities, contract, etc. One board member in particular, a new board member, AR, was elected as a board member back in May, which gives him about 4 months of observing the superintendent and learning about policy, becoming informed when the district is not following purchasing procedures, etc. This is a lot of detail for a board member to learn or become aware in just 4 months. And now evaluate the superintendent. But as you know, and everyone else has observed, the superintendent is very knowledgeable and has extensive experience in curriculum, policy, budget, research, technology, HR, district operations, and boy, can she communicate. If she is asked to give an explanation, she will deliver. And she is able to communicate in both English and Spanish, which benefits the district. So I tell that board member and others, when you go behind closed doors to discuss the superintendent's contract, be fair and be honest. Remember your board ethics. You will be fair and impartial. You will base decisions on fact. rather than supposition, opinion, or public favor. You will refuse to surrender judgment to any individual at the expense of the district as a whole. You will continually be guided by what is best for all the students of the district. Let me go back to September 14, 2022, when the superintendent was officially became the lone finalist. Former outstanding school board president, Ramiro Moreno, stated that the superintendent exemplified the qualities needed in the district. But before the lone finalist selection, the board would seek someone with good moral character, student-focused, with innovative leadership and high expectations for student outcome. Their guiding principle would be to continue providing a safe, nurturing, and learning conducive environment for students, staff, and families, which she has delivered. It was important that they named an individual that would provide support to the staff that we needed in order to serve the students of San Benito CISD in the most effective possible manner. That individual, you know, is our present superintendent. I am hoping that you will score her with high marks and increase her salary, which I feel should have been done when she became the lone finalist, or a few months shortly after. And do not throw away score sheets, as it was found to have occurred for other evaluations, as stated in the forensic audit. Finally, let me briefly go over about Dr. Carmen's salary increases and the contract of no salary increase for our present superintendent. Dr. Carmen received shortly after a $42,000 increase, and he went up to another $4,000 7 months later, and then 4 months later, another $400,000. Our present superintendent is still at $203,000. No increases or stipends about housing allowance like Dr. Carmen received. In conclusion, I strongly feel we owe the superintendent a little bonus. Forget about Joseph Palacios stating the district still owes him $500,000. Use it for the superintendent. Let's take care of our superintendent, who has worked along with her staff through some difficult, serious, exhausting time while implementing policy procedures, improvements in the finance and other departments, hiring and terminations, progress and status on bond facilities. She does it all for the betterment of all students and staff and the community, the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Mr. President, I didn't get any notes or anything, and right now, things that I was going to say, you know, it just came back to me. May I, do I have a little more time? Absolutely, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Good job, that's all I can say.
Thank you,
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, and one of the reasons I'm here, sir, is because I've known Ms. Cervellon since she was a little girl. When we moved to when I got married back in '63, and we moved to this neighborhood, that's when I met him. You know, she lived in front of us. That's one thing. Now, concerning the choosing of the principals, in my opinion, if I was a superintendent, I would have chosen Mr. Galvan for high school, because he had devoted too many years the education field, and I don't know what happened later on, what came out of it, and I don't want to know either. But to me, that was a good choice. The other two, I don't know. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Thank you. Okay, at this moment, let's go on to closed meeting. In accordance with the Texas Government Code Open Meetings Act, the board may move into closed session for the following reasons. Section 551.071, for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney and/or all subjects or matters authorized by law. Section 551.074, for the purpose of consideration of appointment, employment evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. 2.1, a discussion and consideration of superintendent's duties, responsibilities, and the superintendent's contract and employment agreement. We retrieve into executive session at exactly 2:22 PM. 12:22 PM, thank you. Okay, we reconvene into open session at 1:51 PM. Let's move on to agenda item 2.1, discussion and consideration of the superintendent's duties, responsibilities, and the superintendent's contract and employment agreement. Can I have a motion?
I move to place the superintendent on paid administrative leave. I appoint Alfredo Perez as the acting superintendent.
I have a motion. Can I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Corona. All in favor, raise your right hand. 4. Motion carries. And all those opposed? 3? Okay, 4-3. Okay, now can I have a motion to adjourn? So I got a motion by Mr. Corona. Can I have a second, please? I have a second by Mr. Reina. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Motion carries. Thank you.